It's the Benz Punani womanist. Baby boys, baby girls, you need to hear this. If you sit down, receive this realness. Make sure your cup's ready for the tea, we are go sip it, yo. Hard time scrolling for your long shorts. You might learn something you never know. Collect you fine, and she's one of a kind. Don't say you're mine, say you're mine.
And so, we are back. So as I said in the main content, patrons, I said to you about the King of Coins and the moon. The fact that you shouldn't be second guessing yourself at this stage in your life. That you should definitely be doing the things that bring you joy. Be creating the things that bring you joy. Stop waiting to be perfect, because newsflash, we'll never be perfect. What we will be is perfect in our imperfection. You know, we will progress, we will practice, and we will progress. That's the most important thing. Aiming for perfection is useless, because there's no such thing. Just be great at what you are and be a different level of great every time you interact with that thing that brings you joy. That's the main thing that we should aim for. And I feel like this message is specifically for the person who, or people who listen to or watch the extra content. So what the card that was at the bottom of the deck this week was the Nine of Swords. So the reason I'm seeing this Nine of Swords is because a lot of you are in your headspace. You're really giving yourself a hard time. You're giving yourself such a fucking hard time. You're actually in despair. It feels sad, because it's like you don't see how great you are. You don't see what you are capable of making and creating as the King of Coins. You don't see all of your artistic amazingness. You fail to see it, and you fail to trust yourself, because the moon card is upside down, and that doesn't seem like it's just a one-off thing. This seems to be something that's been happening throughout your life, where you don't truly believe in what you have to offer the world. And so you're really beating yourself up, and you're really despairing over it. Maybe someone's been beating you down all of these years, telling you how not good enough you are, or telling you that that's a stupid thing to want to pursue. Why do you want to do that thing? So now they're no longer there, but the swords that they stabbed you with those words still remain in your mind, and it keeps you constantly in despair. And I'm asking you today, from a baby girl to a baby person, please stop. Please stop blocking your own blessings because you're second guessing yourself. There are so many mediocre people out here who are getting all of the things and securing all of the bags. If you too happen to be mediocre, so the fuck what? So the fuck what? So let's say you are mediocre, which I do not believe. There are no mediocre people around me. I only attract excellence, so I know that you're excellent. But let's just pretend for a moment and say that you are mediocre. So the fuck what? There are mediocre people out there securing the bag too. You go out there and secure your own bag. Yeah, but we know that you're not mediocre. We know that you're excellent. So stop doing this. Stop despairing over things that people have said and the ways that they've made you not trust your intuition. You're bigger than that. And the reason I say that is because you've got that Emperor energy, but then the Emperor energy, whenever I see this, and because this card reminds me of Jay-Z, because it's the number 4 card, it's numbered as 4 in the major arcana. And Beyonce is depicted as the Empress as number 3. And this is the Emperor, number 4. Because of the way that I feel towards Jay-Z, I feel like you're in a relationship with someone who has dominion over the way that you see yourself. So I read the card 2 ways. I read the card as in, there is someone who you're in a relationship with, and it doesn't have to necessarily be a man. It could just be someone. It can be a very patriarchal energy. So you might be in a relationship with someone that has very, very patriarchal values. Or it might be a father. Or it might just be a male relative. But I feel like it's somebody that you might be in a relationship with who likes to give you advice that you didn't ask for. They like to tell you all of the ways that you could be better, therefore insinuating that somehow you are less. And I'm asking you to stop fucking listening to that person, because all it's doing is giving you this Nine of Swords energy where you're simply in distress all of the time from thinking of the things that they're saying, and you're doing this moon in reverse energy where you don't even trust in your energy. You don't trust in your creativity. You don't trust in your excellence. But you have to remember that you are literally the King of Coins. Yes, this is the Emperor, but you are still the King of Coins. You are the king of securing your own bag. And I think that you also, the second way that I read this card is that you also have the energy of emperor. So some of you, it could be the fact that you have this energy of being the emperor where you could go out and take dominion over the things that you want. You can level up from just being a mere king of coins. You can level up to being an emperor, for having an entire empire of things that you have built for yourself, based on your creativity. But that requires you to stop doubting your intuition and to turn this card the right way up and have the moon energy as this, as opposed to having it upside down. That's what it's calling for. But I think for some of you, especially if you listen to this as a patron, I'm really getting the energy that there's someone in your life, like a masculine energy in your life that makes you second guess yourself because they've never truly believed in you. But let me tell you that same thing that we said about empathy and people only being able to meet you as far as they've met themselves. This person isn't doubting you. They're doubting themselves. They know that they could never do the things that you're doing. So that's why they've got to talk down everything that you're doing and be hypercritical of it, because that's the way that they're hypercritical of themselves. But you have to leave them with that energy. You've got to keep shit moving because you've got lots and lots and lots of things to achieve and lots of things to be proud of. So anyway, let's get into this letter that we received this week. And it's titled Useless Private School. It says here, "Hi, Kelechi. My best friend introduced me to your podcast. I've been listening since the summer and I'm a big fan, and I'm sad it will soon be coming to an end, but I will be joining you at the live show. Yay! I'm so excited. I also started taking poll in your studio and purchased your affirmation cards, which are currently giving me life. Also, seeing you in the Samsung advert gave me life. Multiple slaps on your chest. Hope you're looking after yourself and not allowing these useless Homo sapiens come to you with the spirit of head breakage. I pray that God continues to bless everything you lay your hands on. Continue to be the baby girl that you are. Amen. Thank you so much for supporting me in the studio. I appreciate you. Now to the point of this message. I'd like to nominate a certain school/children and parents for this week's So You Mad. My younger sister goes to a private school in Essex, which will remain nameless. But let's just say Alan Sugar's grandson attends this school. So you already know the kind of fuckeries and tomfoolery that takes place. So this story has two parts. Part one, a friend of my sister who also happens to be a black girl has been attending this school throughout secondary school and was forced to return for the sixth form by her parents. Fellow students put this girl through hell, calling her a slave at the end of the end of year presentation during Celebrity Lookalike. While the white Beckys, Sandras and Heathers were compared to Betty Boop and Marilyn Monroe, she was compared to Lil Wayne and Donkey from Shrek. And all the teachers had to say was, "Oh, boys will be boys." Part two, a young year 9 Asian child who had recently joined the school was sitting in the sixth form room minding his business when two children in year 11 decided to disturb him, shouting at him saying, "You're not allowed to be here because you're Asian," and persist to remove their ties and whip the child. And to make matters worse, these students were only suspended for 1 day. This white privilege in these private schools continues to become more apparent to me. I feel that these days people are more outspoken and express their racism and discrimination with the utmost vim and vigor. With the increase in the number of ethnic minorities choosing to send their children to these schools for them to get a better education, the children are being tormented and bullied. On a superficial level, I blame the teachers for not taking these situations seriously, but why would they? Yeah, true. And given better forms of punishment, but deeper, I blame the parents and grandparents because, as I mentioned before, if your grandfather is Alan Sugar, then clearly the white privilege and hatred are still instilled into them from childhood. Anyway, I'm keen to hear your thoughts, especially because you've spoken of various institutions moving mad in the past. I hope this meets you well and many blessings for everything you do. Thank you, Bill. My thought about that is the same thing I feel when, like I said in the main episode, that I'm proud that we're getting into these institutions, that black people are getting into these institutions and doing the things that they're doing. But at the same time, I worry for our mental health and I worry for our emotional equilibrium when we're put in these environments where white people can just move mad all of the time, or non-black people, to be more direct with it, can move mad all of the time, and we can't say anything because this is what these institutions were built upon. Imagine what that does to a child's self-esteem when boys are laughing and comparing her to Shrek and Lil Wayne. Again, look at the Lil Wayne. Both of the references that they made were masculine if you notice, both of the references about her were masculine. So donkey is a male donkey, and then Lil Wayne is a man. And those are the comparisons that they had for her. And that bothers me. Like I'm always saying, the way that they infer masculinity on black women and black girls is disgusting. Whereas white girls are always protected, always told that they're beautiful and they look like this and they look like this, like always given reflections of them that are feminine, and therefore reaffirm their hold on femininity and womanhood in a way that we are not afforded as black women. And so I definitely feel like parents, the girls' parents should write to the school, because that's just disgusting and something needs to be done. And for the fact that when it was the Asian boy, I think the boys who were whipping him with their tie they were only suspended for 1 day. That's like you saying, oh, that's just a little slap on the wrist. That's okay. But now when they go and, for instance, one day kill someone or actually whip someone with something more than a tie, what will society do? Because the teachers have already taught them, the school has already taught them that it's okay to move mad in this way. And it's not. And there's only so much that we can stand for. And so my love goes out to these non-white children who are being put in these schools by their parents because their parents either want to stunt on everybody or they genuinely want a better education for their children. But what are they doing to protect the mental health and the emotional health of their children when they're putting them in these environments? These are the things that we need to weigh up as well. How active are parents in these school systems when they send their children there, to make sure that they're not costing their children like self-esteem issues for later on? They're not basically setting up their children for endless amounts of counseling later on and therapy later on because they've been subjected to violence basically every day by being in these institutions. Those are the things that I worry about, and I think that it's definitely things that parents need to consider when they're sending their children to these schools. I know that you want the best for your child, but you have to be vigilant over that best that you're giving them, because it comes with a lot of shit as well. And obviously, we all know that Alan Sugar's a pussy clut. We already know that. But yeah, that's it for this week. Thank you so much, patrons. I greatly, greatly appreciate you. I hope that you're all doing bits and you're doing bobs. Let me know how this tarot sits with you this week, because it definitely feels like an energy that's coming from the patrons. Yeah. So let me know how you get on with that. And as I said, you can listen to my radio show on Foundation FM on Friday at 2 to 4 p.m. So join me there. And like I said, also on the main content, share your magnificence, So You Mad, Straw of the Year, Straw of the Week. Send me your nominations for the final episode and for the live show. Would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Thank you for listening. Peace.
It's the Benz Brunani womanist, baby boys, baby girls, you need to hear this. If you sit down, receive this realness. Make sure your cup's ready for the tea, we are go sip it, yo. Hard time scrolling for your long throats. You might learn something you never know. Collect you fine, and she's one of a kind. Don't say you're mine, say you're mine.